But anyway, and there was this. I'm gonna call it fake morality. I'm doubling down on the morally bankrupt who have access to press releases and they can just put out press release and say whatever they like in the press release. And it's usually in this space I've always talked about ad hominem, and it
Bless up, my people. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. And in this one, my people, we see now where the young Jamaica run out in defense of the government, or should I say the Prime Minister, bringing back Marissa Dalrymple-Philibert to South Trelawney to run in that by-election, my people. We even seen the People's National Party condemning that decision, seeing that she has a court case in front of the court currently. Right, she's not cleared of all the charges that's against her, the 8 charges, and we don't know her faith, my people. And so, National Integrity Action Director Daniel Archer run out to my people against it, and we're seeing George Davis come in defense, saying that, you know, Isat Buchanan is a 2-time convict, and you know, he was weighing in on what persons are saying. So why not can't they bring back, you know, Marissa Dalrymple-Philibert? Now here's a letter, immediate release from the Young Jamaica, and it's dated October 31st, 2024, and it says, Young Jamaica defends democracy, challenges national integrity action, head. So, Young Jamaica firmly rebukes Daniel Archer of the National Integrity Action for her biased remarks, questioning Marissa Dalrymple-Philibert's candidacy in the upcoming Trelawney Southern constituency by-election. Ms. Archer's accusation lack respect for due process, displaying a disregard for the core legal principle of innocent until proven guilty. This principle, a cornerstone of any fair justice system, cannot be bypassed by a supposed non-partisan civic group seeking to act as judge, jury, and executioner in the court of public opinion. It is shameful that the NIA's selective outrage ignores similar situations with opposition figures such as Ian Ailes, Natalie Nita Headley, Michael Phillips, and Philip Paulwell, whose own court cases drew no such condemnation. Even further, the People's National Party's recent endorsement of a 2-time drug convict as a candidate in the next general elections elicited absolutely no utterances from the NIA to date. True integrity demands fairness, not obvious bias. The Jamaica Labour Party's decision to endorse Dalrymple-Philibert's candidacy reflects the clear will of the people in Trelawney Southern. The people have the right to choose their representative. We challenge Ms. Archer to produce any law disqualifying Ms. Dalrymple-Philibert from candidacy solely due to pending court challenges. Our democracy is built on the people's choice, not on accusations and the suppositions of fringe bodies that field selective utterances. Young Jamaica stands resolute in defending democratic principles and condemns this attempt at undemocratic interference. Let the people of Trelawney Southern decide, free from political theatrics and unwarranted biases. Now, first and foremost, nothing about the Young Jamaica is democratic. Nothing at all about UNO no democratic. UNO don't even know the word bias mean. UNO is biased in every sense of the word. And just to add, my people, we even seen the Prime Minister and the few that are in support of Dalrymple's Philibert return to candidacy, my people, basically calling it an accusation of the findings of the Integrity Commission. Now we see in the Integrity Commission chairman, Mr. Seymour Panton, reminds them that everything that is published from the Integrity Commission is facts. And so when they're calling and talking about 2-time convicts, my people, we know that they're talking and they're referring to Isat Buchanan, even though they did not specifically call his name. And some people, Isat Buchanan answers them in a YouTube program that he has called Context Matters. And my people, me take a little small clipping of it. Hopefully Isat don't have a problem with that. However, only can run go over his YouTube page, Isat Buchanan, to watch the full 2 hour clipping. I only took about 5-6 minutes of it, my people. And he basically calls them the morally bankrupt, my people, and saying that his whole ordeal was basically expunged, so them don't even have the right for even talking about it, my people. It is there no more. It has been gone, my people. The court expunged all that went down when he was a juvenile. But me I'm going to hear from him himself, my people, answering these critics and trying to, you know, play his story against Dalrymple when it is two separate and apart incident, my people.
But anyway, and there was this. I'm gonna call it fake morality. I'm doubling down on the morally bankrupt who have access to press releases and they can just put out press release and say whatever they like in the press release. And it's usually in this space I've always talked about ad hominem, and it is about attacking. It's called attacking the person, and attacking the person simply means since you can't say that they can't say that I'm incompetent. No one can say that. They can't say that I'm uneducated or lack education. So they have to go for the things that um, would be displeasing to the eyes or the ears of the masses, even when not true. So um, this thing about twice convicted, yes, it's factual that I'm twice convicted, but expungement serves as, and I say these things already, serves as a tool to say as if it never were, void ab initio, as if it never existed. So I want you to appreciate that aspect of it, that when they speak about expungement, those who speak about it is actually breaking the law. But we know that there are a lot of persons who are criminals who, and we're going to talk about some of them, um, just in passing to facilitate this conversation. But there's a lot of people who will pass judgment, and it's so bad that let's for instance speak about Mr. Adidja Palmer, who is not a convict, doesn't have a conviction, and if you respect the rule of law, you ought to respect the judgment of the court. Instead, they curse me because I use the Constitution, which is supposed to protect the rights of the people, to ensure that Mr. Palmer was free. These things are significant because it speaks about the emptiness, the empty barrel minded individuals who walk around in spaces of authority. And the reality of it is, it's a matter for the people. One thing I can say is, in an effort not to disenfranchise the people, not to disenfranchise the people, you ought to allow the people to decide when it comes to representation. I'm speaking on this, even though I see some Cynthia says sometimes it's best not to say anything, but I want you to understand something. When I speak in defense of this Constitution and the laws of Jamaica. I invite persons who are unsure in light of the misrepresentation that is put out um, into the space. Then you definitely can appreciate that if you look into the law and the Constitution, nowhere in the law and the Constitution it prevents me from running. Similarly, anybody, it's very clear as to when it is that you cannot run, and this is all across the world. As it is right now, Jamaica is a third world country. There was a Vision 3030 which basically fell flat. It's not happening, and your prime minister has admitted that it's not happening. So keep that in mind. But what I want you to understand is, as we watch next week, Tuesday, November 5th, where a convict and a prosecutor is running for the highest office of the land, a former prosecutor who is also a black woman, who also has Jamaican heritage and Indian heritage. So she is the perfect representation of out of many one, if one person could have ever represented that. And it will be interesting to watch if patriarchy reigns supreme, if it matters that the only time people make a fuss about persons with convictions is if you happen to be a black man like Marcus Garvey, Paul Bogle, Sam Sharp, um, and Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, or if when you are white with a conviction, it doesn't matter, or whether it matters only when you are a criminal if you happen to be a Rasta man, or if you happen to notwithstanding being a juvenile and all of that, if those things matter. We have to watch these things because persons made heavy and they continue to make it a serious issue about representation. And it is always painful to realize that living in a space where rehabilitation if living in a world where persons become incarcerated. And the purpose of incarceration, one is for punishment, but the punishment is a sentence. And the sentence, a judge says, this is the amount of sentence that you need in an effort to correct whatever wrong is perceived for you to have. Having corrected that wrong and having proven rehabilitation for you to be the best version of yourself, what is expected to happen is you enter society through a process called reintegration. Proper reintegration would mean that you can function in society and contribute meaningful to the society.
And so when you can see people going to this all-time low, me people, to try to tear down a next person to justify the actions that they choose with someone who is a sitting member, who is before the court, being forced back into the people's face of Jamaica. No integrity, no form of accountability. My opinion in why the Prime Minister basically co-signed or accepted back Dalrymple-Philibert is that the polls really shake him up, my people. And so them now no other candidate where them think could have won that seat. And so that's why them draw back fear. And when we seen Emily Shields, who basically 98% of the time I support them and trying to justify for them, my people. When we see she run out with a quote posted to her Twitter, my people, and it reads, if the Prime Minister can take back Marissa Dalrymple-Philibert, why him can't take back Real Reid? His action is inexplicable and contemptuous. Emily Shields.
We come to talk about the politics a little. Come here, give you something. You know, remember, say, when PJ Patterson was in power, right? Under the plan 3 years, when PJ Patterson was in power, don't you guys remember that PJ Patterson put out a plan that the road from St. Thomas to Moran Point and the whole of the highway, them? You know, remember them? The whole of them come in my comment section, I can talk about PNP love freeness. Mascot, what about the freeness where Siaga, Michael, PJ Patterson and Michael Mandios to give out uniform, free uniform at school? The whole of no elderly parents have benefit of it. We no come and talk about highway and Andrew Holness a build road, a build church, a build school, a build this. Andrew Holness cannot build any school or any church until the local government election run, and the local government take 8 years before it run back again. So ask Andrew Holness, where did he get those money to do highway and road? That the project them were portion PJ left off money, did I live off and
So now my people, when you drop on the comments in the comment section, let me hear what you say. Well said from Isat Buchanan. You understand? Them don't even have the right to be speaking about him any at all and those two convictions. Let me hear what you say, my people. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel on the road to 30K and beyond. Stay tuned for more videos. Stay tuned for more updates. Get this video to at least 3,000 likes, my people. Notification shout out goes to Debbie Jervis. Big up yourself, Debbie. My people, run go over our channel. It's called Debbie Jervis. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Get her to 1K. Please and thanks. Big up on yourself.